So digging deep, examining the root causes of HIV and AIDS among Aboriginal women. Today, your presenters are Carolyn Pelche and Miranda Keewatin.
So what is digging deep? Digging Deep examines the root cause of HIV and AIDS among Aboriginal women in the study funded by Canadian Institute of Health Research. All Nations Hope Network, in partnership with Morningstar Lodge, interviewed Aboriginal women who have been tested positive for HIV, AIDS, or Hep C, or at a high risk of contracting either. Our hopes of this project were to develop models of care that are culturally appropriate and meet the needs of the Indigenous women. 175 women were interviewed, and what we had done was we created a poster and we put it out around the city of Regina. We put our boots to the ground and we went out and we seeked out the women that needed to have their stories heard. One of the things that I've learned from doing the research is that the women have the answers, and they were able to share with us some really good insight that that you'll see throughout this presentation. Our goal was to focus on Aboriginal women and their life experiences as part of helping the women and All Nations Hope Network develop evidence-based community solutions that are culturally safe and focused on strengths and assets of the women who we work with. The research team engaged, supported, and walked with Aboriginal women living with HIV and or HCV. Community-based research navigators were a key ingredient in the success of this project. CBRNs were women who worked at All Nations Hope Network and were trained to conduct surveys and one-on-one in-depth interviews. They also worked to establish relationships with the participants and walk alongside them for the course of the project and beyond as relationships continue today.
So we use community-based participatory research, Indigenous storytelling, and mutual learning. We preferred this method for this project as it provides cultural relevant way of gathering information. This method also fits with how we engage with the participants via in-depth interviews as means of supporting them and telling their stories. Morningstar Lodge, the Indigenous Community-Based Health Research Lab here in Regina, developed and performed the seed app, which I would like to explain and let people know that Morningstar Lodge has adopted the seed app method. We took it into ceremony, and it was renamed in Cree, which is Nanateowen Achekewen Nakika Moska Kekewa Pepe Sekirchik Etchikitchikewen Aztekeokewan, which is also known as NACPA. The Cree translates into English as Cree for medicine, healing, stories picked, sorted, and stored. So based on the survey findings, women identified many barriers to accessing healthcare, such as limited resource, lack of medical transportation, cost, and adequate access to HIV medications, lack of provider expertise, other health priorities, lack of provider interest, confidentiality, cultural competency, language barrier, and a lack of or no family support or childcare.
If you have no home, how are you going to worry about your health? If you have no food in your cupboards, how are you going to worry about your health? If you have an addiction problem, how do you worry about your health? That was from one of our participants.
One of the major community engaged recommendations that emerged from the research findings of Digging Deep involved the continuation of community-based health research with Indigenous women through Kotoway, to start a fire, igniting cultural responsiveness through community-determined intervention research. So fire is one of the 4 elements essential of life. Elder Betty teaches us how women are responsible for carrying fire for the nation. If women are taken care of, so too will the nation. Restoring Indigenous women and sharing coal embers to start their home fire is nation building. Igniting cultural responsiveness through community-determined intervention research will create an opportunity for Indigenous women to reflect on and explore their relationships with their health and well-being, and integrate Treaty 4 teachings of women, girls, roles, responsibilities of songs, ceremony, medicine, rites of passage, ongoing seasonal-driven cultural intervention practices for women at All Nations Hope Network.
With this research, it was very heavy work. I call it my heart work. They really shared their hearts with us. And a lot of times you had to debrief. You had to, really absorb what the women were sharing with you. And then you had to take care of yourself. I had to learn that I couldn't take it to my home fire, but I also had to honor those feelings that they were sharing with me. And so we would spend a lot of time with Elder Betty debriefing on some of the things that we had heard. It was emotional work, heart work, and it was also very rewarding. And my hope this will filter through to our communities where it's needed, to start with the women and lift the women up again. And we are the drum keepers, we are the water carriers, we are the fire starters. So to reclaim all of that would be very exciting. And I think that's the way we're moving. Thank you.